Hi, today I'm going to talk about cost classifications with the use of some cost diagrams. The first one we're talking about is total fixed cost. Total fixed cost is the cost of production that a business pays regardless of how much it produces or sells. So as we can see here, as the unit of output increases, the total fixed cost stays constant. And even if there's no level of output, the company would still have to pay this cost. So for a retail clothing company like H&M, total fixed cost may include the rent of the storefront and advertising. Something related to fixed cost would be average fixed cost. Average fixed cost is one of the two components that make up average cost, and it's given by the formula total fixed cost divided by quantity or level of output. As we can see here, as the quantity increases, the average fixed cost decreases continuously. This is because the total fixed cost is being divided by an increasing amount of output. In other words, the same fixed cost is being divided by a larger and larger number. As we can see here, if you have the same total fixed cost in both cases, $10,000, but the quantity is lower in this case with 100 and the quantity is higher in this case with 1,000. This case would have a smaller average fixed cost because this number is being divided by a larger number. Whereas in this case, the same total fixed cost is being divided by a smaller number, hence it has a higher average fixed cost of $100. And this can be shown here at this situation. It's described by this because the total fixed cost is being spread over a larger amount of output, whereas this is represented by this because it's being spread over a smaller amount of output. Now we're going to talk about total variable cost. Total variable cost is the cost of production that changes in direct proportion to the levels of output or sales. So if the level of output triples, so would the cost. So once again, for a company like H&M, if they want to produce 3 times the garment, 3 times the clothing, they would need 3 times the raw material, like fabric, hence they would have triple the cost. And in theory, variable cost is equal to 0 if there's no level of output. To tie it all together, total cost is the combination of total fixed cost and total variable cost. As we can see here, total cost starts at the same value as total fixed cost. This is because since total fixed cost is something that the business will have to pay regardless of level of output, this is like the base at which total cost is built upon. So if you just add total variable cost on top of that, like this, you will get total cost. So, as displayed by the summary diagram, we're going to go review what we just talked about. So, in the output dependent section, we have variable cost. Variable cost is output dependent because it changes in direct proportion to the level of output and sales. Fixed cost is output independent because it is the cost of production that the business pays regardless of how much it produces or sells. However, there's something called semi-variable cost, like phone bill, because phone bill can start off like a fixed cost with the minimum fixed monthly charge that you pay, and you get a certain quota of free minutes. But once you exceed that those free minutes, the phone bill can become a variable cost. Then within output dependent cost, you can also have direct cost. Direct cost is similar to variable cost in that it changes with the level of output, but what's different is that direct cost is related to the output of a single product, whereas variable cost is related to level of output in general. On the other hand, you have indirect cost within the independent output cost section. Indirect cost is referred to as costs that cannot be clearly related to the level of output of any single product. So for example, for something like fuel and power is associated with the level of production. However, it's not necessarily linked to one particular project or product because instead it is applied to all different areas of the business. So I hope this podcast has helped you better understand different cost classification. Thank you.